The more character that there is in someone, the more interesting, obviously, the final is going to be. Some people might think it's obvious. Oh, you just draw that because it's so exaggerated, you just draw it. But the truth is, from my perspective, that it makes it a little bit more of a challenge because that can distract you from capturing the true likeness. My whole belief is always basically, how do you know your wings are going to work unless you jump off the cliff? You got to believe that you can do it, that you can fly. Otherwise, you're never going to know. I got in trouble in school because I kept drawing caricatures of my teachers on the paper, on my homework papers, and so I got in trouble. I got brought to the principal's office. You know, my principal, her name was Miss Finn, and she said, you know, I'll talk to him. You can go back to the class now. And so she's like, all right, Mr. Seiler. And as soon as like the guy left, she starts laughing. Like she was like, this is so funny. This drawing's awesome. And I was like, really? I was like, oh, cool, you know. Then she commissioned me to draw 9 teachers that were retiring that year. And she was like, name your price. I think I asked for $20 a piece. And I was like, this is amazing. That basically was a foundation that kind of sparked, like, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I am good at this. Maybe I could do this more. So this is a painting I did recently of Steven Tyler. You know, it's got an element of realism, real flesh tones and everything. And that's only because the right values are placed next to the right values with the right color. I know it sounds like, oh, that's all it is. Well, that is all it is. When you get up close, it's not hyper photorealism, where every little pore and everything. The way I like to work is I like to suggest these things. The people who commissioned me to do it, they wanted it to be very exaggerated. They basically told me they want a huge mouth, and it's gotta be, it's Steven Tyler. And my objective wasn't to be mean or make fun of him. I was really trying to capture the icon of who Steven Tyler is. My main objective when I do this kind of work is that it completely captures the person and the essence, and I want it to be 100% the person that I'm painting. As time went on, I started getting private commissions here and there to do caricature, and it wasn't something that just happened. I realized, wow, it was a lot of failure and struggle and not getting any responses from anybody, sending postcards, not hearing anything, and being very, very discouraged. And eventually I got the idea to contact kind of no-name small magazines that nobody's ever really heard of before. And I just wrote these magazines, and I sent them my work, and I said, I've seen the artwork you're using, I think you could use me. And I started doing covers and inside illustrations for a few of those magazines, got paid basically nothing, and just kept doing it. And after a while, I had a few covers. And once I had enough covers, then I sent those to bigger magazines, and eventually, the first big one I got was Time Magazine, which was awesome. But that was basically the move. Work for people who can't really pay you, so I can have, you know, something to show. So this is a piece that I'm working on, inspired by a song by Josh Tillman, Father John Misty. I really love the new record, and I wanted to basically just create a piece that felt like the music, felt like the mood. A little bit of the humor is in there. It's dark and beautiful. That's kind of the feeling that I'm trying to put in there. I'm also doing it because as an illustrator, I work for tons of magazines on a regular basis. But the one thing that I have found is it doesn't matter how many times you have worked for whatever magazine it is, you have to keep reminding them, yoo-hoo, I'm still here, you know. And I've done a lot of work for Rolling Stone. I don't know, maybe 10 paintings at least. And I love working for them. They're one of my favorite clients. But it's been a little bit since I've done anything for them. So when I'm finished with this, I'll send it to them and say, hey, I don't know if you've heard the new Father John Misty record, but it's awesome. I did this because I was inspired by the record and I thought you guys would like it. So because I have contacts with them, it's a much better way for me to remind them that, hey, you guys should use me again someday. But also, it shows them that no matter what, he's going to be creating these pieces of art. And I found that is much better than just sending a postcard, because a postcard is kind of impersonal. That, and I've been in magazines hanging out with art directors when they get postcards in the mail and they just throw them in the garbage, don't even look at them. I started painting digitally, I think, around 2006. I was struggling a lot with my illustration deadlines. It was really stressful, and I was doing mostly watercolor and acrylic paintings at the time. My dad and a buddy of mine were telling me about a tablet that you could draw and you could paint with it. And then I started seeing some digital art out there. A couple pieces I saw, and I'm like, that really does look like a painting. And I thought, maybe I'll try it and see what happens. So I went to Best Buy and I bought like this little cheap little tablet, and I messed with it just a little bit, but then I got I got a job from Muscle Magazine to paint Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it and try it with this. But once I did that, I realized that, like, okay, I can do this. This is painting. I can still consider this painting, and it's quicker, and I have a lot to learn, but I think I can do this. And so it was about that time that I started to do it a little bit more. I still did some traditional for publication, but shortly after I realized that for publication work, I'm gonna stick to digital. It just makes way more sense for the deadlines, and it really helped with the stress factor. So now I save the traditional for my own fun or whatever. Having an artist for a father is kind of been a weird thing, because my dad's not just an artist. In my opinion, he's one of the best artists that I know. I mean, his sketchbooks alone are just ridiculously awesome. He can do any medium, and he can do them all very well. So I grew up with that, but my dad didn't teach me. I was a typical kid and blew my dad off. I didn't listen. I went in a complete other direction, to where when he would tell me something, I would not do that. And I don't know why kids do that, but I did that. I think what really made me become the artist I am today is I did watch my dad draw and paint all the time, and I saw his work ethic. He had a very strong work ethic. And I kind of put this pressure on myself that if I'm going to be an artist, I better be a damn good artist, because people are going to judge me. Painting is a scary thing, and to this day I still struggle with every painting, and it's still hard, and it humbles you. It's like the moment you think you know everything about painting or drawing, and I still feel the same way. I'm still not 100% happy with my work. I know I can be better. I know I can push harder. I know I can change things for myself and maybe for other people, and I want to continue doing it. And it's the most amazing thing in the world to me that I am drawing and painting for a living. One day I know I'm going to wake up and I'm actually probably some farmer somewhere, and I'm so depressed that I'm daydreaming all the time that I'm an artist. I mean, that's probably what I really am, somewhere digging ditches or something. Who knows? But right now I'm going to believe the joke or the fantasy and see what happens next.